Hi, I asked 100 of my random clients, or randomly asked 100 of my clients, why they booked me so that I could learn more about my business. And I'll be brutally honest, it was a bit of a shock to the system. And I'm going to tell you why it was a shock to the system. Also, free marketing hacks, 3 that are going to help you because they bloody well help me, but also explain why some photographers seem to get loads of work and others are sitting there refreshing their inbox. So if you want to hang around, let's do this. I'm going to probably change this background, maybe, but let's go. Newsflash, I didn't change the backdrop. So I asked 100 of my clients, I picked them randomly, and asked them for a question. Why did you book me? I looked at the reviews, I looked at testimonials, I looked at like what we said in sessions, and I learned some stuff about my business that I think as photographers, you and I need to start learning. But what did my clients care about the most? And it opened up a whole thing that I had never considered. And this is why I wanted to do this video, because I didn't see many people talking about the internet, which is very cliche to say, I know, but let's go into it. And 100 of them, I think in the end I got 106 responses, but I'm going to throw up some things for you. And honestly, they shocked me. Like a knockoff Jerry Halliwell of Wish, Daniel Teamer or something like that. Okay, so one of the things that came out from the feedback was my clients didn't really care too much about my portfolio. Not that they didn't care, but they didn't necessarily book me because of the images that they saw in my client portfolio. And this is something I have touched on in other videos, but it just reaffirmed my view that client work doesn't necessarily get you more clients, but your personal work does. So I've spent hours going through my portfolio, trying to perfect it, trying to make it look good. And every time I go back through, I'm like, oh, I should have had that one in there, or I need to have that one in there. And I want it to look as cool as Vogue, although Vogue more dazed for me, but you get the idea, right? Of the clients that I asked, for the feedback, only 30% cared about my portfolio, which means 7 out of 10 people didn't care. They didn't care. They didn't book me based on my photos alone. That wasn't important to them. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's like 7 out of 10. And I was like, that can't be true. But over 100 people got back. So, I mean, I'm just equating it down to 100. And can I say there was some brutal feedback. So it's not like I cherry picked, I put them all together and I did a little bit of a thing so that you can learn. So here's why I think that happens. Clients are not other photographers. They're not going to nitpick. They don't really care about your composition. They're not debating your color grading. What they are is looking at, do they connect to the work and connect to you? It must be, if it's not the work, it must be me. So I need to really think about how I present myself online. Okay. So a pro tip I would say, stop overloading your website with hundreds and hundreds of photos. No one is scrolling that far. They really aren't. And I need to take this advice myself because I was looking through my own. I was like, I need to take this advice. Khandie needs to take this advice. People aren't scrolling through that much. They're not looking at all your work. They're not going, yeah, that's what we want. Put the best of the best up. And even if you absolutely love it, but you know you've done better, you got to get rid of it. The first 3 to 5 are the ones that need to make them go, yes, that's who we're booking. That's who we want. So the rest of them are just reiterating that point, but the top levels are those are my best. Cut down your portfolio. You do not need hundreds and hundreds of people. You don't need to put every event you've ever done up, because if you've done a cycling event and people are like, oh, have you, and you don't need to put 90 million of them up, pick your best ones and leave it at that. Don't put everything up. And I remember going on a friend's website, she was saying to me, oh, I can't get any work in this area. I'm like, because I have to scroll and scroll through, what was it she was doing? Dog shows to get to her portraits at the dog shows, because she chucked everything in. I was like, there's too much going on. I just want to get to those ones. So yeah, look at how your portfolio presents. Don't look at it as a photographer's mindset. Try to get in the mind of a client. A client doesn't care how many there are. They just want to see the good ones, okay? They aren't your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. They're not stalking your entire social media to find a hint of what you're going on. They just want to know the highlights. Okay. I'm going to be right back. I don't like this background. Give me 2 secs. Well, now everything's pink or pale. I kind of match. My Levi jacket matches. So in this feedback, one of the things that completely made me go, okay, and it's something that I have always worried that I was alienating with, was my personality. I am a very Marmite person. I am made very aware that I don't suit everybody. And I'm like, well, that's great. I'm not a supermarket. I'm not here to try and accommodate everybody. I'm a bespoke service, so I'm going to be bespoke in every part of me. And one of the things I worried about for a short time is my personality driving clients away? And in fact, 60% of my clients said one of the main reasons they booked me, or one of the main reasons, was my personality and how I present myself, both online and in person. If that did not give me the confirmation of what I needed to say, just go be you. I don't know what else will. Obviously it really made me feel happy, but it reiterated that I need to show more of who I am up on camera, which probably was why I did the podcast, which is the Loud Lens. If you're not already listening to it on Spotify or even on here, you can listen to it on here. I'll put the playlist there. I was very keen to present me more. Now, obviously this video will probably end up on the podcast too, because I think it's a really good vibe for it. But it just really drives home that a bespoke service needs to have a bespoke personality behind it. For me personally, that's my view, and my clients definitely back me up on that. And so it wasn't just like my lighting that they loved. It wasn't like anything other than really it was me being me and how much they loved being around me. And some of the comments I got, like, let me just read this one out. I picked you because you are always fun online. I was scared of looking awful in my photos and was so nervous. When I came in, you were so smiley and happy and instantly made me relax, and the shoot just kept getting better. That's why I booked you, Khandie, and that's why I'm going to book again. No mention of how good the photos were, which I will admit they were good photos, but it was just how the client felt. And I think that's something we're losing, the client experience, as well as allowing ourselves to have some personality on there. Because sometimes we're kind of drawn into this idea that we need to look a certain way or we need to act a certain way. And actually, it doesn't feel very real to you to act that way. So I'm desperately trying to make a change with how I am and be more me. You might have seen that if you came to the photo and video show. It's all, and actually doors have opened more for me. More doors have opened for me than they have closed for me because of understanding on who I am. And the people who close the doors to me, they're not my people. I hear people, I would be wrong if I said I haven't heard people say things out of line about me. I'm okay with this because we've had no interaction, or we've had a limited interaction, and you decided that you want to be known as a person who talks like this about others. That's a reputation that you will then carry with you. I'm okay. I'm doing my thing. I'm very open and honest about everything I do. And I think that's really important as photographers, that we stay as true to ourselves as we can and not be ashamed. So if you're an introvert or an extrovert, don't be afraid to be either one of those. You don't have to be this gregarious personality. I just naturally have an outgoing personality. But it doesn't mean those who don't have an outgoing personality are any less of a photographer or less likely to get clients. But you will attract people who are drawn to that. So don't be afraid to show that side of you. But interestingly enough, some of my favorite photographers are actually introverts. And one of my favorite photographers, two of my favorite photographers actually, Ellen Jane Rogers, I own lots of her work around my house. I highly recommend you check her out. Beautiful, very different to my own work. And the other one is Sean Tucker, who, is a demigod amongst us. Like the guy is just incredible, completely polar opposites from what I do. Yet I am utterly and always inspired by him. So the pro tip from this is look at your Instagram, look at your stories, look at the way you're connecting, and try and put some of you back into introvert or extrovert, whatever that personality presents as. Show it to your people. Let them see your face and hear your voice, because people are worried about going to somewhere to have a photograph if they can't even put a face to who they're going to go meet and what kind of vibe you're giving off. So just start showing up, and it's okay to be an introvert online. You don't need to be like me. You don't have to. You can be exactly you as you are. So I always think it's really good if you post behind, if you're worried about like, I can't always be on camera, it makes me feel a bit awkward, post them behind the scenes clips. So you might have seen a little bit more of me posting behind the scenes. And I feel like one of the friends, my friend in America said, is you got to act like you're the bartender. So you kind of got to make people comfortable and want them to come back. So you listen, you engage, and I don't know if that analogy works well here. So if you've heard of that analogy, please let me know, because I don't know if I'm quoting too much of stuff that isn't very relevant to this audience. But the idea is that you connect with your client a little bit more. And it's a skill that's learned, but it's a really good one for you. One of the things that came back is that 70% of my clients are either booking me because they've been on my Instagram and they've been on my website, or they've been referred, which gives me the idea that my clients were openly like checking me out. So your online presence is really important. In fact, I found people going from my website and looking at my Instagram from my website, and then going from my Instagram looking at my website. It wasn't just that, there was a couple of touches that were happening before, and clients were saying that, yes, they found me via a Facebook thing or an Instagram, but they would go check further into me to make sure I was legit, because there's so many horror stories out there. So if your social media is a bit of a mess, there isn't a clear way to contact you and who you are, really tidy that up. If your website's looking a little outdated, tidy that up. If your contact forms aren't working, you need to get that working, because we've moved on, and you can't just stay making it work. It has to work. In your bio on Instagram, make it very clear who you are, what you do. No one should kind of have to guess, but also have a way to contact you. Have your website, keep it clean, keep it professional. The professional is very much a varying degree of what we believe is professional, but it should definitely fit in with your style, your brand. And I don't like this idea where people spend ages focusing on logo, but definitely have a vibe through your website that matches what you're doing as a photographer. So if you've got dark and moody, make sure that vibe is kind of carried through. Another thing that I've come across myself and I've been trying to book things is making sure that your social media contact forms are really easy, because if people can't, you're going to lose bookings, and that means losing money. We're not here to drop those clients. One of the things I found with my clients is that they would sometimes message me on a couple of the platforms to ask me for a shoot, not just the one. And I would reply to all of them and say, hey, should we carry this on email, or should we carry this on Facebook? Whichever they seem to be more engaged with. Because I want them to know that I'm checking them all, and my social media is kept with autoresponders like, hey, thanks for your message, we'll get back to you, just so I'm constantly touching that base. Something I would definitely look at doing. Another thing I've started to do a little bit more is showing off the reviews that my clients give me, and also when my clients write comments on the pictures that I've posted of them, really nice things, I'll save that and share that later on as a story, make it into a little graphic, because people will believe other people before they'll believe you. And I think that's a really nice marketing thing. Like, make sure you're getting testimonies from other clients, and there are ways to get testimonials, not just with feedback forms, but also just how they engage with the images that you post of them afterwards. Do you know what's better than spending money on ads? Getting free bookings. I don't know how else to say this, but like over 50% of my clients came from word of mouth or online reviews. Like 50%. I don't know if that means I need to do more ads, but 50% of what I'm already doing is working. This means my past clients are doing my marketing for me. We stress so much over Instagram and whether we're relevant and whether we're keeping up, but there are literally clients who will be your hype. I have clients who, so just this morning, right? Here I am on Facebook. Someone said, can you recommend a decent photographer in Northampton where I live? My name got added to that thing by 7 other people within 20 minutes of that post going up. I was like, huh? And I was like, I'll recommend myself then. Thanks very much. Like, my clients are recommending me. And some of those people aren't even my clients. So my tip here is, after you've done a shoot, send them a thing saying, hey, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. Send them a little like feedback. Maybe it's like, I'd love a review. I'd love to know that you enjoyed the experience. Anything I can improve. Most people will do it if you ask. And you can then use that. And you can also incentivize reviews. Now, I don't think you should incentivize to get good reviews. That would be unethical. But you can say, send a friend my way and I'll give you a discount on your next shoot. It's free marketing, maybe. I mean, provided they book, obviously. But, you know, maybe that's a way to do it. And I would, like I said before, post the client testimonials. Clients will sell you for you if they like what you do. And I think that's really important, something that we do overlook. We're like, we're done the shoot, we're done, we're getting out of here. Now, I use Studio Ninja to say like a follow-up email. I'd love a review. And it's just like, thanks for being part of this session with me. I hope you've had a great time. Here's the links to if you want to write any reviews. But other than that, enjoy your imagery. And clients, I've started to get it, and it's really lovely. Now, I want to just preface this. Sometimes you won't get a 5 out of 5 review, and that's because a lot of people don't like putting 5 out of 5 reviews. Some people put a 4. Don't be disheartened by 4 reviews, like 4-star reviews, because people just, I have friends who refuse to give 5-star reviews. I have no idea why, but it's in their psyche that they just don't do it. So this is going to be a learning exercise for you. Clients will give you feedback if they're asked, but just be prepared that not everything's going to be a 5-star, because you can use this as a learning experience. And then you're like, oh, but it's out there on the internet. Honestly, don't fret. Anyone who's got constant 5 stars is fantastic. But even people who have like 4 and a bit, 4.8, 4.6, whatever it is, if you look at the so-called negative ones, they're often, we've had a great time, we've had this. It's just that people don't like giving 5 stars. Photographers stress about pricing all the time, like all the time. And yet in my feedback from my 100 clients, only 20% of them said that pricing was one of the main factors they considered when booking me. 20%. 2 out of 10 thought it was an important thing. The rest didn't even mention it. Why? Because they said they valued what I did more. And I'm like, isn't it cool that they valued? I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I think I'm like the most expensive in town, or I'm not sure what my price is. And my clients are like, la, 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 la. They don't really care. And the 20% that cared, they said that there were other factors to why it also booked them, but it was one of the ones they considered. For me, I think people start to realize that I value what I do. So I attract people who value what I do. So if you're running around doing the cheapest of the cheapest, throwing everything at it, people aren't going to have the same respect for it as they would as if you were you valued your work a little bit more. You know, you saw it as a luxury item, because photography is technically a luxury item here in the UK, it's regarded. So for me, I don't want to be, I'm not a supermarket. I'm not here to appeal to everybody, get the right words. I'm not here to appeal to everybody. I want it to be a bespoke service, so I have to value that. And bespoke is normally valuable and has a higher price point. So I'm not going to care, because I am offering a bespoke service and bespoke costs. So what are you going to do? You're going to stop competing on price. You're going to start looking at the value of your product. Does it give your client the value back? There's something different between price and value. A product, sentimental, has more value than a throwaway item. Okay, think about that. That's why people use the terms like heirlooms and heritage art. They use these words that kind of invoke this kind of, it's got grandiose appearance. It's beautiful, you know. And it's like, it's funny, isn't it? People lose their phones. They get upset they've lost the phone, but they're more upset sometimes because they've lost the photos on the phone. It's the photos that hold the value to them. So for me, I'm kind of like, we need to start realizing that our photography has a value beyond its price. And one of the ways that you can look more valuable is sleeking, improving how your client books you. Be it the client management software that you use. I use Studio Ninja, as always. There is a link in my bio for a referral code. But I use it because it's so easy to book me, and they can see that I've invested in my business, so they feel in the back of their head that I'm investing, so they need to invest. And it sets the precedent that this is a valuable item. So for me, I would say, if you're going to do anything, slick up, improve how your client books. No to and fro with emails. We're not doing that, okay? So let me wrap this up for you, because I need to get on with sanding a table over there. That's really why I'm in the studio today. You are going to create your portfolio. You're going to slimline it. Put the top 3-5 as your besties. You're going to be like, those are the ones I want the client to go, holy, you need to book this person, okay? We're going to show our personality more. We're going to be like, aha, this is me. Whether that me is this is me or this is me, it doesn't matter. We're going to show up more, my people. We're going to be like, I am so proud of my brand. I am here. I don't care if you shove your face in front of the camera or you're going to use behind the scenes. You're going to start showing up, because the more they know who they're booking, the more likely they're going to book, okay? Hard one, but you're going to start collecting reviews and referrals. You're going to make a note. Now, I'm going to go over it again. Studio Ninja for me allows me to say where my client came in from, be it a returning client, a word of mouth, a referral, whatever it is. I can log that in, and we're going to charge value, not price. We're going to recognize that just because something costs us this much to do, that's not the price we're going to put it at. We're going to value our time, our management, ourselves, our work, our art. Okay. I mean, I was shocked at the 100 client responses. 100. I was shocked, because I have been obsessing and worrying about all the wrong things. And I think that's because I spend far too long hanging around other photographers, critiquing our own work and not looking and thinking like a client, because they're our intended customer, aren't they? We're not selling ourselves to other photographers. We're selling ourselves to people who don't actually have an in-depth knowledge of photography, but they want to look good, they want to feel like they look good, and they want to enjoy the whole experience. So let's remember who our actual client is, who pays us, okay? Now, as ever, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell button, and I'll see you all soon. I'm going to go sand that table over there. Wish me luck, because I don't think I'm actually dressed for that, but I'm here for it, because I'm a girl and I can. Bye. I'll probably have to record this again, because I think the changing backgrounds, if you're watching this on the video and not the podcast listening, the background kept changing, and because of my own doing, and I'm not sure if I love it as much as I think I do. Okay, bye.